He had so many lines that he was clearly trying to say
Yeah.
that he didn't listen and say.
Bingo, she hit the nail on the head. She said Tim Walz was so worried about what he was going to say next and the lines that he needed to say that he was unable to listen to what JD Vance was saying and then respond appropriately. This is a great example of something my clients and I were talking about yesterday. The question was, Megan, why is it that we know our rebuttals, we know our objection handling, and then we get on the phone and the customer asks us a question or throws us off, and we just can't seem to get our bearings? And my response was based on something I've learned to be so true, which is the 4 levels of consciousness. Now, with the 4 levels of consciousness, I invite you to go ahead and search that out and do some research on that. But essentially, when we're learning a new skill or we are finding out how to do something for the first time, there's 4 levels of consciousness. Now, the 2 that were exhibited on stage last night were one of the debaters was a conscious competent, and the other debater was an unconscious competent. Now, what's the difference, you say? Now, a conscious competent is someone that has a certain skill set, but they are only able to utilize it with specific effort. An unconscious competent is a little bit different. This person has the skill set, but they have it down so well that it becomes absolutely automatic and muscle memory. So it was very clear during the debate last night that Tim Walz falls under the conscious competent box. And it was also very clear that JD Vance falls under the unconscious competent box. And why do we say that? Well, because you could tell by the fact that JD Vance, first of all, was poised, charismatic, not nervous at all. And every time Tim Walz would speak, JD would listen to him because he was not worried about reciting anything in a moment to offset what Tim was saying. He was specifically listening to Tim and then coming back and having his response. Some of the times the response was, "I'm sorry to hear that, Tim. Like, I cannot believe that happened to your family." And so he was able to be empathetic, and that really edged him ahead during the entire debate process. Tim, on the other hand, has been getting raked over the coals by the media. Some are saying he prepared too much. Some are saying he didn't prepare at all. The truth of the matter is, he has not done enough public debate or public interviews for him to be an unconscious competent yet. It's not automatic. He's really having to exert effort in order to respond appropriately. And that means that he's just not to the unconscious competent level yet in terms of consciousness. So how does this relate to what we do? Well, in sales processes, marketing and lead generation processes, oftentimes we will struggle because we are not at the unconscious competent level yet. Once objection handling becomes second nature, once objection handling, becomes like water off a duck's back, you can know it like you know your address, then nobody talking to you will rattle you because you already know that you're prepared and you will know immediately what to say when that moment happens. If you are not at that point with your skill set in terms of your scripting, your objection handling, or your process, that just means that we need more practice. That just means that practice, drill, rehearse needs to be one of the things we do daily so that we can get to the point where our responses are automatic. Once we arrive at that point, the customer feels much more comfortable interacting with us because it's not a script and it's not a robot. It is you listening to the customer and responding appropriately with the appropriate response. But you're only able to do that. You can only listen to the customer when you're not in your head thinking about what you're going to say next. Take this as your friendly reminder that we need to role play every single day.